If I asked you to name the people that you love and then to put those people on a level of connection, most people, regardless if they're familiar with the framework or not, would probably choose the deepest level because you love those people. But that's why most people are disappointed and finding themselves frustrated in certain relationships, because love is not a level. Love is a language that we speak on every level of connection. And I look forward to unpacking that in today's episode. Let's do it.
How you feeling? You feeling all right?
Yeah. I got all these love songs in my head. I think love, a word that comes and goes. But few people really know what it really means to love somebody. Oh God, we got all the keys going on. Or love. So many things I've got to tell you, but I'm afraid I don't know how.
Sing that song.
'Cause there's a possibility when you look at me different.
No.
I also think about Babyface. 'Cause we got love, 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 love. We got love.
Hey.
Oh well, for the young ones. Love, never knew what I was missing.
All right.
But as soon as I wasn't a fan, but every time I'm in a place and that song come on, I mean from the belly. You hear me? Oh my God.
Or,
What
M is for the way
you look at me. O is for the only one I see. V is very, very extraordinary. E
is even more than
love. That's all I got. All right, I think we covered all the spectrums. If you don't feel represented, I'm trying to think if I can think of something, a genre that we didn't represent.
probably
Good Shania Twain song, pull some country out, a rap song, Drake. Well, I guess people don't listen to Drake no more. I don't know. We're moving on right now.
Oh, he's the lover boy.
Again, I aged out. I missed him. I promise you, if I was just 5 years younger, I'd be a fan. But he came a little too late. It's a little too late. Yeah. Okay, so I'm excited about this episode because, we in the whole Valentine's season of it all. And I know that most people around this time are thinking about love. The love they have and the love they don't. The love they want. The love they can't find. The love that they lost. Oh my gosh. And so I thought, what if we did the 5 levels of connection and talk about what love looks like on every level? Because I don't want anybody out there to think that if I'm not dating or if I'm not booed up, if I'm not married, that, this whole love thing don't apply to me. Absolutely not. You can experience love at great lengths and in abundance in the relationships that you have if you know what love has the ability to look like on that level. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. So I hope y'all are encouraged. All I do know is that I have loved and lost a lot. My God, a lot. And when I love y'all, I love big. I often have to check and make sure I'm not love bombing and doing all the stuff that, the people talk about on the internet, terms that I don't really always understand. But I do love big when I do choose to love. And I choose to love quickly. And so I had a friend, one of my best friends, who when I first met her, I mean, a fan, like absolute fan right out the gate. And I actually used to shame myself for like liking people so much, like up front. I'd be like, I really like you. And I don't know if it's because I have the ability to meet someone and in a short amount of time kind of see glimpses of who they are or have the potential to be. And so I'm just a fan of people in general. Like, I like humans. And so I'm also an extrovert. So I'm often like, I'm down for all the things. I want everybody to win. I'm rooting for you. Okay. I'm rooting for you. But I had this friend that when I first met her, I was like, you are amazing, y'all. And to my surprise at the time, she did not feel the same about me. Actually, she told me that we could not be friends and would not be friends because she already had some. And I don't know if you've ever felt that kind of rejection in a relationship where you felt more for someone than they might have felt for you, specifically in the context of love. And it could be romantic love. I'm talking about platonic love with this particular friend. It could even be familial. I think about my biological father, who I've talked about on the show, who wasn't present in my life, but I loved that man as much as I could love him based on what I knew of him. That love for him was very unconditional, but it was also at a distance because we did not have a working relationship. And although he has the title of dad in my life, and I say that I love him, y'all, he wasn't a deep and meaningful connection to me. He was not in my level 5 of connection. And for some people, those mismatches kind of mess with us. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I know I love my mom, but I don't think my mom is level 5. And it's like, oh, I really love like my friend, and I really think my friends are level 5. Right? Is that okay? Right? There's intimacy at that level of level 5. Is that okay to love somebody at level 5? So if you have ever loved and that love was not reciprocated, whether it be from a family member or a lover or a friend or just anyone, just know that it's not the end, okay, for you and your story and your journey as it pertains to love. You can learn to love. You can learn to love deeply and meaningfully on all the levels. And we're going to talk about that today at The Board. All right. Welcome to The Board, y'all. I absolutely love being able to draw the 5 levels of connection because I think it's the easiest way to understand the framework. For those of you who might be joining us for the first time, these are the 5 levels. Level 1 is here at the top. It's wider at the top. Level 5 is down here at the bottom where it's more narrow. The natural conclusion you can draw is that you will always know more level 1s and have more level 1s than you have level 5s. And it will progress that direction as you go deeper into connection with an individual. Just know you don't have the capacity to do this amount of connecting at this level of connection, okay? So today we're going to talk about what love looks like on each of these levels. So level 1 is strangers. These are people we have no information about. So the conversation becomes, how can we even love a stranger? Well, I think this is the most underrated love and the love that is so easy to extend, but we're not in the habit of that. And I think that right here is this like love your neighbor kind of love, this unconditional love. And this love is the love that sees, okay? So we're gonna put right here, go to white, love that sees. Now, why do I say the love that sees? I think there's a level of awareness that we have lost as it pertains to strangers, because in our minds, strangers are not meaningful and they're not deep. They're like the NPCs in video games, right? Like they're just there. You shouldn't be really engaging them, or you can't really interact with them. But I'm like, but real life humans give context to spaces. They help us to feel like we belong when we see other individuals who look like us, sound like us, dress like us, right? And so a love that sees is a love that is rooted in an awareness of others. And so what that looks like is holding the door for somebody. What that looks like is, letting someone know that they've dropped something. What that looks like is giving a kind compliment to someone. This is this unconditional, you've done nothing for me, I want nothing from you, I am extending love your direction. And it's a love that sees. Seeing someone is sometimes the most loving thing that you can extend to someone on all the levels, right? But it starts here with the love that sees.
So this is what love can look like with strangers. Now, on level 2, we've got a love that shows up. Okay, I'm gonna thin this out just a little bit. A love that shows up. Now, when you have no information about a person, it makes them a stranger. But then once you gather that information, you have an opportunity to do something with that information, which is why on level 2 with our acquaintances, we are investing in those relationships. To have information about someone and do nothing with it leaves that person on level 1. But when you actually take the information you've collected and you start investing it, that is where you build your acquaintance connection. And this is a love that shows up. I'm not just talking about it. I'm actually doing something, okay? Like I am showing up for you. So this is a communal love. This is a love that is all about presence, right? Being present with people, spending time with people, because the only way that you can actually invest, right, the information that you have is by giving someone your energy, your time, and your attention, okay? So this is the love that shows up. So I want y'all to think about someone who always shows up for you, right? You say you got something going on, they're going to show up for you. Have you ever considered that an act of love, right? If you think about the love language, this could be quality time. This could be acts of service, right? Y'all seeing how this kind of overlaps into some of these other frameworks and principles out there. So this is a love that shows up. Now, let's go to level 3 and let's talk about a love that builds. Okay. A love that builds. Now, this is an ally kind of love. You resonate with your allies. You guys have mutual investment and mutual benefit, right? That's coming back into your relationship. And on this level, this is that kind of brotherly, sisterly love, the love of mutual value and shared energy. This love says, I ride for you, you ride for me. I look out for you, I sharpen you. We have each other's backs, okay? So this is a love that like builds up the other person, all right? And on this level, I think a lot of relationships that build us up, like I'm investing in this relationship and I feel like this relationship is actually making me better. It's building me up. I feel more full as a result of being connected to this person or this thing. Like that makes me feel loved. Okay, this is not a love that is always taking, but there is a give and a take and a reciprocity there, and that builds me up and makes me feel loved. So that is what love looks like on levels 1, level 2, and level 3. So as we kind of cross the threshold from meaningful to deep, right, we have level 4, our confidants. This is a love that commits. Okay, a love that commits. Now, this is what I would like to call covenant love, okay? This is a love of shared mission. This is an intentional alignment. This is a deep love. This is not a love that is predicated on what we can do for each other. This is not a love that is about what I'm getting from this. This is a love that says, I'm not just here for the good times. Okay. I'm not just here when things are going well. Like I am here for you. Like I'm riding for you. You don't have to show up and perform for me. You don't have to be on for me. You don't have to be and give me good face, right? You can just be who you are, how you are, and why you are. And I am committed to you. That is the kind of love that lives on level 4. And you can love someone deeply and realize, right, in that you're not aligned with them. And if that happens, like, it's harder to do life with them on this level when you're misaligned. So a love that commits is easier to display when there is alignment between you and the person. It would be harder to love somebody on level 4 if there was a lack of alignment between your values and your thoughts and your feelings and how you saw the world, okay? It's not about sameness necessarily, but it is about a commitment to someone who is aligned with you and for you, and y'all going deeper together. All right. Now, level 5. This is the love that everybody thinks is the love that they want and the only love that matters. This is a love that knows. Okay. A love that knows. What we're exchanging on level 5 is intimacy. And intimacy is not sex. Intimacy leads to sex, leads to great sex, actually, because you feel so known by the person, so seen by the person, so valued by the person that you want to give yourself to that person physically, right? But it doesn't equal it, okay? Intimacy is not the same thing or synonymous to sex. And so when we're talking about the love that's happening on level 5, it's a love that knows. And this, to me, is where all the loves, in my personal opinion, converge. They all come together. There's a fullness of connection on level 5. Okay, all of these things are stacking up and manifesting in every way on level 5. This love says that I am fully known and fully loved anyway. So you gonna smell my stuff and know that I got flaws and see bad character things and see that I don't always keep my word and that I'm not always aligned in everything that I do, and you're still gonna love me anyway because you know me, but you still choose to love me. That is a level 5 love. So as we think about love in this Valentine's Day season, I want y'all to remember that all the love is not romantic love, okay? There is eros love, but there's phileo love, there's storge love, there's unconditional love, you know what I mean, agape love. All the loves exist on all 5 of these levels. And so I hope that that's helpful. Let's get into the live.
The first scenario we have submitted is my best friend of 15 years just told me she doesn't feel close to me anymore. I'm devastated. I thought we were level 5.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. A lot of best friend breakups out here. I've had my share of them. And so I think that's difficult. I know very intimately how it feels to have a relationship that is close and it feels deep, and then all of a sudden there's a tear or a break in the connection, and there's just not clarity about why. And I think that's sometimes the hardest part about scenarios like this, where it's like, we were friends for 15 years, and then what did it say? It says,
she told me she doesn't feel close to me anymore.
She told me she doesn't feel close to me anymore. And so I think at this point, although it would be difficult, I would try to be as curious as possible. Like, try to believe the best and try to be as curious as possible about what that even means. If it's possible to have a conversation I think is definitely an opportunity to just get clarity. It might not change the fact that this friend has moved on or wants to move on, but if that friend is willing to give context, you know what I mean, and more information to why the situation has unfolded the way it has, that can be helpful in the process of accepting the new fate or reality. I think sometimes people online make it sound like people should just be able to move on with these open loops that they have in their minds about relationships. Like, that's not your responsibility, and you know, that's that's not your problem. And if they, and I'm like, okay, I was completely invested in this relationship. My heart was attached here. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking about abuse and, you know what I'm saying? Like, relationships that got a lot going on. I'm talking about this culture that's kind of like, if they've moved on, you need to move on. You need to stop dwelling on it and stop. Like, as people just, they have the ability to just shut it off. Specifically, if it's not a romantic relationship and it's just a friendship, people. And I'm like, your heart doesn't know the difference. You know what I mean? Heartbreak is heartbreak to your heart.
This listener wrote, I love my parents, but I don't tell them anything real about my life. And I feel terrible about it. Am I a bad daughter?
I mean, I would not call you a bad daughter, but I do think that there's some information here that we can pay attention to, and that is, I don't talk to my parents about anything. What you say that's real in my life. So that says to me that there's a lack of psychological safety there to share, with your parents. The level I think that reveals could be holding y'all's relationship is level 2, because you don't share anything about who you are, which means it's not level 4 and it's not level 5. So we can cancel that out. Now, but you do things with your parents. Maybe you go home for the holidays. You get what I mean? You hang out. You go to Sunday dinner. They ask you how things are going in your life, and you share about, those things that are happening. But at no point in time do you ever reveal about how you're feeling, what you're thinking, and your emotions and your perspective and your belief system and all those things that make you who you are. That stuff's not being revealed, then absolutely level 2. Level 2, maybe level 3, if those other conversations about what's going on in your life actually go well.
This listener says, I'm dating someone and I like her a lot and I think she likes me. But we have different love languages. When either of us make gestures of care, she misses me and I know I miss when I try to express my care to her. Does this mean we don't love each other?
No. No, it does not mean that you do not love each other, but it doesn't mean that you don't love each other, but it does mean that it could be perceived as a lack of love. So the situation would require conversation around what makes you feel loved. You get what I mean? And on both sides, both people being able to express that to one another, acknowledge that and accept that about one another, and then practice that with one another. I call it real expectations. So in a relationship where people are expecting to be loved a certain way by the other individual, but don't feel loved that way by the other individual, I'm like, well, there's a couple things that have to happen here. You have to have real expectations. R standing for recognize. You have to recognize, one, that you have an expectation. And I know on the internet, people are like, well, if you just don't have any expectations, you can't get hurt and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, you got expectations. It's just, your brain got expectations. That's how your brain works. And so, you have to recognize that you have those expectations. Then you need to express those expectations to said person. They then have to be able to accept and agree and acknowledge whatever A you want to use for this acronym. Okay? Those expectations. Like, you have communicated this to me and I'm acknowledging them. I'm accepting that is true for you. I'm agreeing to working on loving, you this way that you want to be loved. And then the L, you have to live it out together. But that takes practice, takes reps, right? You're not going to get it always, or in the beginning in general. You'll just have to keep practicing. So that's the advice that I would give to that person. I don't think this is indicative of their love. But again, to be fair, when you're on the other side of a relationship and you don't feel like the person is speaking your love language, it could be interpreted as they do not love me. And I know that very well in friendship. I know that in marriage. I know that in just a lot of different relationship dynamics I've had with family. But that real acronym has helped me navigate. All right. Well, listen, this Valentine's Day season, I hope that you feel loved. And if you don't feel love in the way that you want to feel love, and there's a gap between the love you feel and the love you want, I pray that you are able to articulate that to somebody, talk about it, work through it, sit with it, but also see the opportunity that there is to find love on all of the levels of connection. So until next episode, thank y'all so much for tuning in to Connection by Design. I'm your host, KB, and until next time, peace.